Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get-together live, both on YouTube and on Facebook. So wherever you're watching from, welcome. It is a pleasure to see you today. It's Friday, June 6th, and it's a small miracle that we're here in one piece. I overslept this morning, and I must put some context into this, if I may. Usually my body wakes me up anytime between 5:30 in the morning and 7:30 in the morning, and that's okay with me. I wake up, I start my coffee, and I start getting to work on today's broadcast and my projects and whatnot. But to oversleep in this weather without an air conditioning system keeping things comfy, it's a small miracle. So I must have really needed sleep, and I know why. I had a wonderful day yesterday, and I'm dying to tell you about it. So today's broadcast is going to be a little bit on the casual side. It's going to be more about show and tell. I do have some news items that I wish to share with you, and I need your help in untangling two English words that I'm having a problem with. But we'll get to that in a second. First, as usual, a couple of news items that I wish to share with you. Uh, this is what I found this morning. The first one has to do with this thing I mentioned the other day briefly about a real estate developer in Sayulita that behaved badly and built an illegal wall near the beach that prevented mere mortals like you and I from accessing the beach. A protest ensued, and the demolition of the wall followed. Now we learn that Bahía de Banderas mayor Héctor Santana is hoping to convert the area into a new lookout point for everyone to enjoy. And I think that is amazing. So it deserves a tómala. Tómala. Apparently, the Federal Electricity Commission, the nice folks that provide us with electricity, decided to honor gay pride in their Facebook account by changing the background of their image into one that displayed many colors in support of the celebration. Well, all kinds of comments, both positive and negative, flooded the Facebook page. And I share this with you more than anything else for the sake of social commentary and to remind ourselves that while we may live in a city where certain neighborhoods are very supportive and very welcoming of the LGBTQ plus community, there are other parts of the city and many parts of the country that are not so keen just yet. So this reflects the diverse character of our country. I also wanted to mention that as other venues in Puerto Vallarta take a summer break, Nacho Daddy is open and buzzing with great food, cold drinks, and a welcoming atmosphere. A number of activities for this month were listed on this article that I referenced from Banderas News. And I'm happy to see Nacho Daddy promoting itself and making sure that we are aware of a business that welcomes us in the summer months and is open for business, which brings me to this word that I'm having a problem with, and that is the pronunciation difference between worrier and worrier. I don't even know if there is a difference in the way you pronounce these words. I'm struggling with this. And I'll tell you why after we take a quick look at our weather forecast. And we'll get back to this, but start thinking about it. How do you pronounce these two words? How do you tell them apart? You'll see why it is important to me in a moment. First, let us see what's going on out there. And let's see. Oh, oh, that is precious. The Trump and Elon breakup is even better than I could have dreamed. Where is my boom boom sound effect? Because we certainly need that. All I'm going to say about that is either somebody will write a funny musical about this chapter of US history in a few years, or Ryan Murphy, God bless him, will produce an amazing series that will bring some light into this very curious episode that is going on in US history. 31 degrees out there right now. Humidity is at 68%. Our weather forecast for today says it's going to be mostly cloudy skies in the morning with rain in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 36%, a high of 32, and the low of 26. Tomorrow, Saturday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with rain in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 51%. How about walking in the rain? That sounds dreamy. A high of 32 and a low of 26. And then Sunday, mostly cloudy skies in the morning with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a chance of rain of 68%, a high of 32, and a low of 26. And this is what is going on out there. So let me tell you a little bit about my mindset. And I kind of hinted at this at the end of yesterday's broadcast. This year, for whatever reason, I am truly mindful of the transformation that goes on in our city. And this is nothing new. Our city transforms every time the summer months arrive because a bunch of you choose to leave, and that's okay. But there are many of us that either don't have that choice or choose not to make that choice, and we stick it out all year round. And we learn to love it and we learn to accept it for what it is. So at the same time, I am also mindful of, you walk down the street in popular tourist areas and you see restaurant after restaurant after restaurant in places where they usually have a lot of people, and many places are just open and waiting for business. And it is challenging to see that. And I can only imagine how challenging it must be for these businesses. Some businesses learn to plan ahead and budget their expenses accordingly so that if they know they're going to have a slightly slower summer, they can make by. While other businesses, maybe they're new to the adventure and they struggle. Now, this is not my fault. This is not anybody's fault, but it's difficult to remain idle and not try to support everyone or anyone as much as we can. So when I see news items like the one published on Banderas News about Nacho Daddy, I am so very happy to be a supporter. So what does this have to do with worrying or worrying? Well, I've come to think of myself and many of my local full time English speaking friends as summer warriors, as in, I'm a warrior, as in warrior, not as a worrier, somebody that worries about the summer. So, yesterday, during my music appreciation presentation, I was cheerfully welcoming all the summer warriors, and my friend Julie said something along the lines of, "So what? I don't understand. What are you worried about?" And then it hit me. It's difficult. I mean, I will read your comments in a second, but pronouncing the word is, you know, it's challenging. I don't want you to think that I'm worried. What I want you to know is that we're celebrating, or I'm trying to celebrate the fact that some of us duke it out during the summer months. And Puerto Vallarta does not die, and we don't stop breathing, and we don't stop being curious about the world. I mean, some of us become more lethargic. It's difficult to stay wide awake and fully alert in this weather, but I'm going to duke it out this year like every year. And yesterday, and here I start with my a little bit of show and tell, if I may. Yesterday, I figured, okay, it's time for my presentation on Rodgers and Hammerstein's. How am I going to get to the Joint Boutique Hotel and co-work today. I usually take a bus, but yesterday I figured my audiobook, it's a thriller, sci-fi thriller. It's reaching its conclusion, so I'm just going to fucking walk all the way to the Joint Boutique Hotel and co-work in the middle of the afternoon, in the middle of schwitzy summer. Well, summer hasn't even officially begun. And, it was a lovely walk. It was cloudy, it was breezy, and I was sweating, even though I was wearing a hat and whatnot. And, uh, and by the time I arrived at the Joint Boutique Hotel, I was very mindful of the fact that my clothes stunk. So I tried um, not to get close to anyone, but I was really happy to have walked and to see that, there are people out there. And there are people out there enjoying themselves. The city does not go into a coma, although sometimes we feel it's so hot. We want to go into a coma. Yesterday's presentation of Rogers and Hammerstein's music was just so gratifying to me because of the people that were there, because our dear friend Logan chose to celebrate his birthday with us. He brought muffins, very appropriately, very much on brand. I brought a bottle of red wine, and those of us that were there truly enjoyed ourselves. And if you see that arrow pointing at a certain lady, that is Kathleen Wilson. And Kathleen Wilson is this lovely, classically trained singer that occasionally sings recitals at Christ Church by the Sea. You may remember that not too long ago, Maria Ammerman sent us information about a recital, and she said to me, I'm sending you the program because I know you like to know all the information. And I said to you guys here on the broadcast, well, it's not about what I want, it's about enticing the audiences with what's going on out there. Now, here's a funny thing. Kathleen, sitting in the audience, for all I know, she got to the presentation yesterday because of a friend. She didn't know I was the coffee and headlines guy. I didn't know she was a classically trained singer, but we connected the dots, and I figured this is what destiny is all about. So, long story short, I said to her, hey, you're about to sit through one of my presentations. If you enjoy it, let us plan an amazing didactic educational recital in the fall when you come back, and let us combine forces and put together a great recital where I speak about the context of the music you're going to perform, and and you perform it. So, long story short, she loved the presentation, and we have agreed to plan something for the fall. I don't think there are coincidences in this world. I think things happen for a reason. Um, After the fact, we headed, some of us, well, during intermission, we broke for lovely wine and muffins to celebrate Logan's birthday. And a few of us headed over to Rico Indian, the Indian restaurant in Isla Rio Cuale. And before I tell you what happened there, 2 days ago, Monish had sent me this wonderful message. Would you know of anyone looking for a job? I am looking for help, general help, and a waiter. English is a plus. For the waiting job, I thought I would ask in case you knew someone. Could be long term and also possibility of a 1 month gig as I am traveling for a few weeks. This from Monish, the owner and artist behind the wonderful food we enjoy at Rico Indian. So if you know of anyone that is looking for a summer, maybe permanent job, um, please get in touch with Monish at Rico Indian. And I do want to let you know again, in the summer warrior spirit, that some of us may not think immediately to go sit at Isla Rio Cuale in a hot and humid evening to enjoy spicy Indian food. But let me tell you, the ambience that Monish creates, the food that he puts on your table, the stories that he shares, his devotion and commitment to the experience, and the food is just amazing. It really is. There was this lady dancer that came out and and regaled us with Indian dancing, and we thought she must be from India. And we had all kinds of questions about whether she was improvising or dancing a choreographed dance. She turned out to be a Mexican national gal that Monish has trained to do the dances, and a single mother. So it really felt so good to contribute with a little bit of budget to the livelihood of this restaurant that you might dismiss because the summer is hot, and to the livelihood of a local single mother that is trying to make do by dancing uh, at a restaurant. So we left the restaurant feeling so fulfilled emotionally, physically, and spiritually. I just needed to share a little bit of that with you and let you know that worrier may not be the word I continue to use because I don't want you to think I'm worried, but I do celebrate those of us, with all due respect to those of you that choose to go duke out the summer weather elsewhere. Good for you. And I'm happy that you have the ability or the choice to do that. But for those of us that stick it out, hey, we're here. We want entertainment. We want things to do. And here at Coffee and Headlines, we are going to continue to celebrate those people that embrace our city 365 days a year. Of course, moving forward in my schedule of presentations, my next presentation is Wait, He Wrote That, which celebrates the music of Michel Legrand, this amazing French film composer, jazz pianist that you may think you know very little about. But when you start recognizing some of his songs as they had lyrics translated to the English language, you will think to yourself, I had no idea he had written that. So this will happen on June 19 in air-conditioned comfort at the Joint Boutique Hotel and Co-work. Last but not least, before we start looking at your comments, another reminder, our online survey of the week is up in the show notes, so feel free to go spend 30 seconds answering it. It won't take much more than that, and we will reveal the results on Monday along with a new survey. And now let us take a quick look at what you guys are up to this morning. Da 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 da. Thank God it's. Oh, that was me. Thank God it's Friday. Yes, this is such a nice weekend for me, I might say, because I'm done traveling. I'm no more Guadalajara until September if I go to Pat Metheny, unless something spontaneous happens. And it's really time to focus on summer projects and to focus on loving the weather and looking forward to what's coming. Let's see what else we have. Laura, it is a beautiful day. I have to agree with that, even though your day is beautiful far away from mine, but it is a beautiful day. And Harold, you are absolutely correct. If your body says sleep, you should sleep. And I'm happy I did. Although at 9:10, when I opened my eyes, I was like, oh shit, I have a show to produce. So I appreciate your allowing me to have a more casual broadcast than usual. Um, I heard about this. Thank you so much, Sly. There is a protest happening across the street from Sunscape Resort tomorrow, June 7 at 10 a.m. for restricting access to the beach. Join us if you are interested. Well, Sly, I'm going to be doing a broadcast, but I am so glad this is happening. I will mention it tomorrow in the broadcast as a reminder. Maybe some of us will have a chance to get there after the broadcast is done. Why on earth would anyone in this day and age, knowing that beaches are not private in Mexico, would try? Why would anyone would even try is a mystery to me. Okay, here we go. Warrior. Ugh. Oh my goodness, Kathy. I don't know that I will. I'll have a conversation with ChatGPT to see if we can coin a different phrase that doesn't use the W word because it is a bitch to pronounce and differentiate for me. It's just complicated. And I appreciate this, Jerome. I have no problems with the meanings of the word. It is the pronunciation that drives me absolutely bonkers. Um, think warrior and worrier. See, I'm challenged. I am so challenged. I love it. Um, and let's see, muffin. I have come across the ugliest comments ever here locally. Whenever local periodicals post about any positive or supporting news regarding the LGBTQIA, whatever, community, sometimes people forget that beyond La Zona Romantica, there is a great big city that goes on for miles called Puerto Vallarta, and it's full of all sorts of people, including the narrow minded and bigoted. And that, my friend, is the reason why I express concerns about people showing public displays of affection beyond the safety of the putisona or the gayborhood. You know, it's not so much that the authorities have an issue with two men or two women tonguing or kissing or whatever. It's the fact that the people that live here may not see it with good eyes, and that could be the start of something of something regrettable. So all I suggest is common sense for everyone. And for those of you to think that Puerto Vallarta is paradise and it's wonderful and heavenly, it is, but you might want to be mindful of your surroundings wherever you go, whether it is Puerto Vallarta or anywhere else in Mexico. And that's just my 2 cents. Is there a Spanish equivalent to the phrase you rock? The first one that comes to mind is eres la onda, which literally means you are the wave. But to be la onda, or to be a toda madre, to be full mother, is you rock. That's what it is. Um, Logan says warrior versus warrior. I'm giving up. I'm gonna smoke a fatty this afternoon, and I'm going to ponder this very curious situation. I just am. Let's see. Let's see what else we have. Yes, I did, Laura. 16 people this time of year. You know, I never complain of small turnout because I still have to do the research, and this research still nurtures me, whether it's only 3 people present, and I've had 3 people present, or whether it's a full house and I've been blessed with full houses. But 16 people in June, beautiful, beautiful. It was, my cup runs over. Let's see. Last night, we attended the Cirque du Soleil Crystal show. The performance was held on ice. It was totally magical. This must have been elsewhere, Barbara. You are up north right now, right? Because I don't think we're having that here in town yet. I think Vidanta starts their Cirque du Soleil shindig in December. I could be wrong. Barbara says Rico is such a wonderful restaurant on many levels. Looking forward to returning in November. I adore Monish, and he knows it. I adore the owner, his spirit, his enthusiasm, his commitment to the cuisine and to the experience. It's just beyond words. Everybody should enjoy the restaurant. And I don't use the word should very often, but if you want a really gratifying experience, Rico Indian will deliver. Let's see. Gary, many great warriors were actually secret warriors. Napoleon conquered half of Europe, but probably still worried about whether his hat looked ridiculous. You are being ridiculous, my friend. But I love your comment. Thank you so very much for that. Salam, it was so nice to see you last night. I saw you getting moved by the presentation, and you moved me. It was just beautiful. Thank you so very much. Um, yes, thank you, Muffin. Summer Soldiers, it is. Thank you. Let's not think about this any further. Welcome, Summer Soldiers. I like it. Thank you. I'm still gonna smoke that fatty this afternoon, if you don't mind. But thank you. And here's to Summer Soldiers. Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Vagabunda says, "Hey there, Paco. Thanks for always giving local small business support. We need it in this slow time. We absolutely need it. We talked about Vagabundas just the other day. You know, take your time and go and enjoy Vagabundas as well. Any small business that takes the time to remind us that they're here and takes the time to visit with coffee and headlines in whatever shape or form, we will be so very happy to amplify what you bring to the table. And those of us that are summer soldiers should be grateful that you stick it out for us. And in reverse or in appreciation, we may want to consider finding a budget and the time to go and support these summer businesses as well. Pamela says, "We love Rico, and it was so wonderful to meet Monish." Yes, yes, that's lovely. Have you ever had Angelou on the spotlight? I don't know this person, but as you know, the spotlight is free for anybody to attend. Ironically, I said to Monish after he regaled us with some stories about he has this fascination about peppers and the conversion of peppers in Mexico and India. And I said to him, Monish, come to the spotlight. Let's do an interview. And he said to me, it's your schedule that doesn't work for me. And I said to him, and I say this for anyone that is really worthwhile, if you cannot meet the 4 o'clock taping of the spotlight, if it is possible for me to come find you at a schedule that works for you, you know, I'll be happy to do that because these are amazing connections that are waiting to be made. So there you have it. And then Barbara says the Crystal show was attended in Vancouver, much cheaper than the ones in Nuevo Vallarta. Oh my God, Barbara, what can I tell you? I don't set those prices, but I am glad that wherever you are stocking up on positive energy and nurturing energy to bring back to Puerto Vallarta when you return. And with that said, this is what I have for you today. I look forward to connecting with you tomorrow morning for more coffee, more headlines, and more stories. Have an amazing Friday, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.